welcome to the Marshaverse. This is a place in the rest of the universe where I come to make make sense.
From the entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada, it's midnight in the Marshaverse, starring Marsha Warfield and her two sons, Stephen Roberts and Skillz Hudson, as the problem child.
Good morning. Welcome to Midnight in the Marshaverse. I'm Marsha. This is my verse. We like to get together once a week, into that magic time between yesterday and tomorrow that's right here and today. And that one little portal where it opens up in the spirits we can converse and convene with them. And that's the time when midnight has a special meaning for me and for just being a Black American woman. That was the time when Black people who could would sneak away and find little areas where they could just be. And even if they weren't free, they would find hush harbors and small outgrowths and swamps and would celebrate just being alive. They would strategize and get together and try to beseech and convene with their ancestral spirits to give them strength to carry on and move forward. And they were remarkably successful, and I am very proud to represent that time of day and the power that they amassed at that time. Be that as it may, I am grateful that we have this time where we can do other things, where we don't have to so much beseech and bemoan and sing spiritual songs of escape and hope for a brighter day. We have the power. We can make that happen. So tonight we're going to, as we usually do, we're going to have some refreshments. This is our little cannabis and cognac time because we are very grown and it's legal where we are, and it gives us a chance to chill, which in our society for all people, but especially for Black people, rest is our ultimate revenge. We were not supposed to ever have rest. We were supposed to work. That's why we were brought here. That's why we were had value. We had tremendous value to work, and so just in that alone, just to take the time to just cool out and chill is valuable. But in the larger society, none of us are supposed to rest. We have our lives scheduled from the time we wake up until the time we finally go to sleep, and then even then things are not done. And I think that stress that we're all under has led to where we are now, where we are in a chaotic kind of mental hodgepodge of just vitriol and angst and hate, and it would just do us all a world of good to kind of just take a breath and chill out. And so that's what we do. We kind of de-stress and calm down. I like to, like I said, have a little cannabis and cognac. Tonight we're gonna have for the cognac, we're gonna have a little shay. Why not? It's over there on the shelf. We haven't had any in a while. So let's do this. Just a little bit. It don't take much to get the edge off. We ain't got to, you know, once a week we can do this. We ain't got to guzzle with a straw, even though I've been known to, upon occasion, just for the hell of it. Anyway, we have a little cognac, and that's a bit much, but I probably won't finish it. I like this little glass. It again is not a conventional balloon cognac glass, but for convention, it works. So I've been known to drink cognac out of a jelly jar. So step up from that. This is a stiletto um, battery, and it's a heavy hitters cartridge. Again, I like to take the labels off and just be surprised as to what the strain is. So that's what we're going to do right now. Join me if you want to. That's good. Now that we're a little libated and refreshed, we need to get into, what's going on in the world. Um, we had show mapped out what we were going to talk about, and then the tragedy at the Charlie Kirk murder kind of threw everything into chaos, and it's a very difficult kind of situation to maneuver through because we have a rule, I guess, in this country where you don't speak ill of the dead and you don't glorify or enjoy somebody's misfortune. And I believe in that. I believe that the man, it was a tragedy that he was killed, and to be executed in public like that is just a horrible thing. But the fact remains that I have nothing in common with him. I I don't believe that now he should be celebrated or glorified or lifted up as some sort of martyr when he said horrible things and spread a lot of uh, division and hate and was misinformed about a lot of things. And so I decry the violence that we all live with and that we blame each other for, when the fact remains that we're all at risk at all times. That our kids ain't even safe in school. So there is no place and no particular people who we can feel safe around, especially if you're a woman. Uh, you know, just being is a threat to a lot of people. So to have to navigate this tragedy in the midst of the tragedy we are living in, you know, in the larger picture, it is a lot to ask of people, and it's taking a lot out of all of us. No matter what you believe, people are at each other's throats, and it's almost like, for what? What are we what are we fighting over? This country has more than enough of everything it needs for all of us to not have to work at all, or to be able to choose to work at the things that give us not only a living but pleasure. But that's not the way it's set up. So we're all uh, just unhappy, and we're supposed to somehow perpetuate this forever for whatever reason. And I think it's time we look at this whole situation in a different light. How did we get here? What is it we collectively, is this the best use of our resources, human and otherwise? Because I believe that as long as we elevate the masculine and suppress the feminine, we will always be in this kind of chaos. It's not natural. It's just and it dismisses and discounts the power and the potential of feminine spirit, knowledge, wisdom, goddessness, the creative force that made us all. Uh, it just totally dismisses that in favor of a mindset that's really basically foreign to most women. And maybe together we can come up with a balance as we are supposed to look for, but apart, we're just at odds with each other. And we see that, I see that online with the young people and the men versus the women. And the fault is that this and it's white men, it's black men, and blah 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 blah. And nobody is looking at the real facts of how we got here and willing to accept, okay, that's the way that was. Now this is the way it's going to be. And until we do realize that as long as only men are in charge, we're going to be running up against this same problem, because men don't give life. Everything you ascribe to a god, women do. And so stop looking beyond that and start appreciating the other half of humanity. And so, uh, with that in mind, I look at the politics that we're in right now, and everybody has heard that the Republican Party is the daddy party, and yes, they're the law and order and and real man, and that's the whole that we drink beer and that's the image that they project, and they dismiss women and the Democratic Party as being feminine and weak and just unworthy. And the reality is, until the Democrats understand that that's their strength and stop looking at themselves through the lens of their enemies and understand that the fact that they do have a big tent, that they do have a huge pool of various thinkers and people with all kinds of talent and perspectives and backgrounds that collectively can do anything and should be doing anything. The part of the biggest reason we got here was because 1619 project shook them up. It shook them up. It's like, ooh, they know game. And that's one thing I've been saying that Black people are finally starting to wake up to, is that it don't matter whether it's in the White House or in some Bilderberg something or in some pool hall down the street. Game is game. And you've been in this game for as long as the game been here, but you haven't been encouraged to see the game or to even trust your own intuition that this just bullshit, this just game, and play it like that. And even when you did, the people keeping the record portrayed you as somebody who didn't get it, who don't understand it. So the whole system is set up to diminish instead of enrich. But if we saw it for what it was and saw the game and then played it like game players, these people, they're no match. No match. Not only do you have book sense, good sense, common sense, you got street sense. And that's that game. And when you look at it like that, you realize that nobody is better at it. Nobody has more sway, more savvy than you do. And so I had so much more to talk about, because I wanted to talk about, what did Ding Dong Donnie do today? He does something every day, but what he did, it wasn't today, it was this weekend or Friday, when he told a Black woman to shut up. Excuse me? Say what? Why this was news was because the Black woman did not go off as most of us would be triggered to. But it was so disrespectful and so blatantly disrespectful, especially when you put it up against the backdrop that these women are also interrogating him about the way he mistreats women and demanding answers from him about what was his relationship with a convicted pedophile. And he gonna tell somebody to shut up? And are you kidding me?
There's a reason why Trump keeps attacking Black women, because they hold him accountable. They're the most united opposition to his power.
But why leave the Department of Defense?
Listen, be quiet. Listen. You don't listen. You never listen. That's why you're second rate.
That was Donald Trump berating NBC reporter Yamisha Sendor. He hates when Black women in the media question him.
On the campaign trail, you called yourself a nationalist. Some people saw that as emboldening white nationalists. Now people are also saying that the president.
It's such a racist
there
question.
Are some people.
What a stupid question that is. But I watch you a lot. You ask a lot of stupid questions.
Are you going to include the Congressional Black Caucus and the Congressional
Well,
Hispanic
I would.
Caucus,
I tell you what. Do you want to set up the meeting? Do you want to set up the meeting?
No.
Are they friends of yours?
Just a reporter.
Listen, the same thing with April Ryan. You talk about somebody that's a loser.
That was Trump attacking 3 Black women White House correspondents, Yamisha Sendor, Abby Phillip, and April Ryan. He does it with Black women in politics, too.
So Maxine Waters is leading the charge. A seriously low IQ person.
He questioned Vice President Kamala Harris's racial identity, told Ayanna Pressley and Ilhan Omar to go back where they came from, and overruled Black mayors Karen Bass in L.A. and Muriel Bowser in D.C. by sending in federal troops. And when they take him to court, he lashes out at New York Attorney General Letitia James and Fulton County DA Fani Willis. He even called federal judge Tanya Chutkan evil because she refused to put up with his foolishness. Now he's trying to purge Black women from government. Lisa Cook on the Federal Reserve, Carla Hayden at the Library of Congress, Gwen Wilcox at the NLRB, and thousands of others who have been fired this year. But it's not just high-profile women.
My name is Mae Wiggins. I was denied an apartment in the Trump buildings based on the color of my skin.
He refused to rent to black women in New York City, including Maxine Brown, Rennell Cash, Agnes Bunn, and May Wiggins. He targeted election workers Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss in Georgia.
Do you know how it feels to have the President of the United States to target you?
His policies have already cost more than 300,000 black women their jobs, and his judges have tried to shut down the Fearless Fund for helping black women start businesses. MAGA plays it off with fake AI images and excuses.
And the racism thing has to stop. Donald Trump dated black women.
But black women can see right through the bullshit. At least 92% of them voted for Kamala Harris. They hold him accountable, and that pisses him off. Malcolm X said,
"The most disrespected person in America is the black woman."
But black women are also the most threatening to the establishment. From Harriet Tubman to Ketanji Brown Jackson, they've always held America accountable. If a random white man on the street told a black woman to shut up and go back to Africa or send his thugs to harass her, we'd be outraged. So why would we tolerate it from the President of the United States? Every time any one of us smiles in Trump's face or stands on the stage or normalizes racist, sexist, fascist behavior, we dishonor May Wiggins, Ruby Freeman, Letitia James, and all the black women who stood up to him from 1965 to 2025. We dishonor our mothers, our sisters, our daughters, and ourselves. From reporters to prosecutors to election workers, black women have risked their necks to protect our democracy. Now it's time for the rest of us to back them up.
That's the whole reason, and this don't sound crazy, that's the whole reason Kamala Harris didn't win. Because people can look at this man who's a convicted felon, talk to this woman who thinks circles around him, and that this is the way it's supposed to be. If we are going to deal with these situations we are dealing with right now, we're going to have to start trusting women a lot more, supporting them a lot more, understanding, again, the resource you have if you work with black women, I think, and not just black women, white women are, all women are, this is the Church of Jesus in the Marshaverse. It's the official church of the Marshaverse. If you're looking for something that worships your creator, your umbilically connected creator who gave you everything you have, who nurtured you, cared for you, protected you, loved you, who still does wherever she is, who is the closest thing to a God you will ever see in the flesh. And if we were to understand that, you can believe whatever else you want to, but you have to incorporate that side, that compassionate side, that soft, that feminine side. These are not weaknesses. These are strengths. We're not using all our strengths, and that hurts men, women, and children. But getting back to the whole concept of rest, and I'm not just talking about any particular kind of person here, but just think about this. In this country, leisure is a class. It's not a time, a thing. It is a class. You have to be of a certain class to enjoy leisure. That's fucked up on a natural level, on a basic human being level. Are you kidding me? Leisure is a birthright. We should be able to not just relax, but enjoy. Because like I said, this planet has given us such a bounty of everything that we could plant it all outside and all be fine. But that's not the country we live in. And so we have to fight everybody, everything. This shit should be funny. As a comedian, I can tell you, I believe most comedians believe that what we're living in right now should be funny. And the fact that it's not is the whole problem in a nutshell. Because I was watching the Chinese "fuck you Donald Trump" parade, and it was just, it was so blatant. Like it couldn't have been more blatant if they had all walked down the street grabbing their crotch, going ah. They were doing not just maneuvers; they were doing synchronized stepping that looked like something you could see at a HBCU halftime. They were dancing. I said, what is this? Who produced this? Busby Berkeley? Is this some kind of Hollywood dolly shot? They was doing all kind of tricks, and they all of the weaponry, and they're doing all of this, like I said, dancing and synchronized, like Esther Williams on land, and getting in these tanks and with uh, bombs that all look like metal penises. They're just all these guns, just penis extensions, and they're all coordinated and synchronized. I'm like, what is this for? Is this to be ready for the next time we have a choreographed war? I mean, I don't really see that working. So these kinds of showmanship and like I said, choreographed propaganda, mind games. That's all it is. They're playing with your mind. And just like you would do anybody else you knew who was trying to pull that silly shit, you would ignore as much as you could and uh, efficiently deal with what you had to when you had to and keep on going about your business because shit don't make no sense. And so I think we have to understand that we're in it but not of it, and that we have always existed in a way that not only sustained us but moved this country forward. They gave this country heart. They gave this country soul. They gave it a beat. Okay. And so we have always uh, worked to make this a free and fair society. And there's been a significant faction that owns this whole thing that does not want that to happen. And so even with that, even with the whole system's deck stacked against you, we had an opportunity to elect a black woman to the White House, which would not have changed everything overnight, but it would have changed everything overnight. It was the inflection point, and it wasn't so much about who you love, who you like, It was about it's time to end the worldwide pissing game, pissing contest that we've been locked into the whole time this has been a country. It's time to be better, to understand what you have, and still be able to be decent and caring and living and loving. It's possible. And that's what takes courage in this country nowadays, to be willing to say, I'm on that side. That's not weak. And it doesn't mean you let people walk all over you, but you understand that they're trying to run game and you know what to do to deal with that. So that's my sheology and comediosophy for today, for tonight, and which is a good thing because I want to introduce my guest tonight. He's a young man I don't really know really well. I know him, we've met and talked. I am very much aware of who he is, and I know who he is, and I know him, but I want to take this opportunity for us all to get to know him a little better. I admire him. He got it going on. So help me welcome my guest this week, Joe Torry.
Hey.
Hey, baby, how you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm okay. Yeah, you having a drink with me?
I'm having a drink with you. Cheers.
What you got?
Bink. There you go. I got some vodka and some
All right.
cran apple in here.
Go ahead. And you smoker? You're a non-smoker, a smoker?
Yeah, I've been enjoying you and ready for the next round.
So. All right. Then let's get started.
Yeah.
So I know, or I might not know, but I know of you from the Comedy Act from the beginning.
Right.
Before that, and you from mine in neck of the woods now. You from St. Louis?
St. Louis, yeah. That's
Chicago, St. Louis. They're Midwesterners now. What were you doing before you got to the Comedy Act?
Before I got to the Comedy Act, well, my journey is one of a military child. So my father was in the Army in Mississippi, and my mother from South Carolina. I'm one of 6 kids. So I was really originally born in Virginia, Fort Eustis, Virginia. So Newport News, they call it bad news. And then
okay.
Yeah. So and then we bounced to my sisters were South Carolina, Fort Jackson, my little brother was a comedian guy. It was a Fort Ord, California. So we bounced around from Virginia to Fort Ord, New York, but St. Louis I call home because that's still where I call home. That's still where put the seasoning on me.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So the Midwest. I've been everywhere else, but I'm like the St. Louis is the Midwest is a particular type of place. So
yes, it is.
Put the seasoning on me, prepared me to come back to Hollywood, and my journey was was that route. And seeing all that as a young kid, bouncing around, I knew that back in the day I used to watch TV, and Sammy Davis Jr. used to be always on every channel, and every station, which was only three: CBS,
right. Okay.
NBC, ABC. But he was welcome on everyone's show, from Ed Sullivan to even with Naki. Cause you just see, he was just everywhere, and he could basically just conform to every audience, and he was so wonderful and so magnificent. I was like, I got to get inside that television, and I want to be that little bad black man right there.
Okay. Did you ever meet him?
I met him once, real quick, and this up timing. And I was listening to you earlier about spirit and soul, and just you kind of what you see and what you do. I got out in L.A. in 1989 and happened to be an extra on the set of Harlem Nights.
Okay.
Where all the greats were.
All right.
All the greats from Red
Fox.
Except
one.
I mean, yeah. You're right about that.
No,
right
I
didn't understand Hollywood back then. I was just like, wow, how am I being an extra? And I'm out here at the right time where they're doing Harlem Nights. And Red Fox is there, Richard Pryor's there, Eddie's there, and Sammy Davis Jr. came by for a second, and he walked past me, and I was in awe. Like, hello, Mr. Davis. He's like, hey, he was older, and he was helping him to the set. And to me, I met him.
No, Sammy Davis Jr. And I'm of the mindset that he will forever be Mr. Davis to me, because that's how it was. But he always, and I ran across him 3 or 4 times in my career, he was always so warm and gracious and saw me not as a youngster, but as a peer. And that blew my mind, because Sammy Davis is Sammy Davis. If you don't know, get some books, not just one. You can't get one, but get some books, get some videos, go educate yourself. And if you don't see nothing else, look at the man do Bojangles live. If you don't understand who he is by then, you just ain't gonna never understand. But so now you end up, did you join the military?
No, I didn't do military. When I saw Sammy Davis Jr., to me, which is the greatest entertainer of all time, which people don't understand, named Michael Jackson, I said, no, they got it. Where you think Michael and all these people got that from?
Michael would have said Sammy Davis.
And say Michael, when Michael says, he speaks of where he gets the precision, he gets that little where, because Sammy was performing since he was 3 years old.
Yeah.
Never went to school, speaking very good English.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Been around the world.
And can play just about every instrument. Talk about Prince, but Prince could do, but Sammy can play just about every instrument. He could do juggle, he could do tricks, he could do voices,
sing
and dance, he could dance, he could do animation, gunslinger. It was like he had so many skills. It was like, wow, that you wouldn't even know. And to stand up for who he was, stand up for black rights, to speak on and that's what they say. That's what you say, go get some books. They won't tell you the real Sammy and what Bill Cosby them used to really be talking about back in the day, trying to put our people up on game, like you were talking about earlier. Like, you come on now, we say some things, but everything. That's why these books are here, because everything you want to learn is there. So
well, we're so used to, though, every time we talk, even affection is kind of, oh, you ain't shit, and rarely do we speak love,
right?
And celebration, and say, you're a bad motherfucker. Fuck all the dumb shit.
Right.
and I am proud of you. I'm proud to know you. You know, and we were getting there in the 70s, and then, you know, the powers that be and everything kind of little poison things into the conversation. So now it's not just about brother and sister, it's about my nigga, my this, my that, and now it's down to you, bitch. And it's you've taken the level of respect shown to each other
Right.
down to a base level.
Right.
That's, you know, where we are. But be that as it may, you got to Los Angeles. You would do a comedy then? Where you
Well, no, I mean, you know, that's all I ever wanted to do. I got back in Los Angeles in '89, but when I first started, it was like I wanted to get back to LA. So I just studied. I studied and followed comedy entertainment like you. You were one of the beacons to see a black queen like you holding her own, you know, in the early days. It was like, wow. So you know, and to find out you're a comedian, because sometimes you didn't know. We didn't have all these verses and internet where you can know that person's a comedian too. You know what I'm saying? Oh, that person, she's an actor. So then, you know, oh, she does this too. They don't let you know the how many gifts that we have, and they try to keep you a secret because back then it was just like you were just with a certain studio, or you were with a certain network, and you were their little, you know, their little discovery, or their little whatever, black or white, whatever it is. The game has changed so much now that, you know, you wanted to be somewhere like that, and you wanted to represent. So so planting a seed like you did back in the day gave me a beacon to like, yo, it could be done. You know what I'm saying? So not only Sammy, I could be Marsha. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But as meaning, I can be a black person making it from wherever I am and coming there and holding my own and not succumbing. You didn't take roles where you like, you know, mammy, don't you kiss me, kiss me. No, you made us proud. You made us proud to see.
You want some of them biscuits?
You want some of them biscuits? It was like, nah, you weren't going for that, and you felt it. So it was like, yeah.
I said that the other day. I said they talk about I'd rather play a maid than be a maid. I don't want to do either one. I want to hire the maid. Fuck the dumb shit. I'm not gonna ever be your maid. I ain't gonna be my own maid. So another thing that influenced the game, and that there was a progression, a steady progression from no representation or having to sell out into minstrelsy and blackface, and that's to finally, which really I find ironic because that was based on black people making fun of white people, and they didn't catch on, and then so they thought they was making fun of us, but you was making fun of you. But to see how far things have come.
Right.
When I had been in LA, I was doing night court by 1989. And but when I started getting black hairdressers, getting black makeup, all of that stuff was we had to fight for that, ask for that. I did my own hair. Most of the time I was on night court. They just didn't have the support. But as more and more black people got involved in more and more aspects of the business, all these things could come together in a confluence to a point where you could have a pool of talent at the Comedy Act that had an outlet on mainstream TV, which never had happened before. So you walked into this situation where, okay, this is, you know, it's the kind of thing that where the people my age and stuff and before were like, this is where we want you to be. And you went through and grabbed the bull by the horns. What happened? Tell me the story of you and the Comedy Act.
A blessing. I mean, you know, you could, you know, you can listen to your ancestors or your auntie or whatever else, and and then they start coming back to you. You know, right place, right time. Certain things you got to ask for this. You know, my great grandma used to say, "Well, boy, you living off prayers. God ain't heard your prayers yet." My mom used to tell me, "You living off my prayers. He ain't even heard you yet." You know what I'm saying? So they put that behind you. And when I got here, like I said, the perfect time. I met Robin Harris. And that's where I don't know if you know Eddie Jackson. He was from St. Louis. He was a casting director. He was casting director for and not the big casting director, but he was associate cast director for extras and for whatever else.
Well, yeah, we didn't always have them.
For Harlem Nights. He
Yeah.
saw us at the Cardiac Theater, you know, because back they had all the stages, but back then you couldn't get on stage anywhere. Not the Comedy Store, not the Laugh Factory. You didn't have a name. You had to wait. Matter of fact, I got in March in '89. They told me I had 3 minutes in June.
Okay.
I was like, what?
Same game when I got there in 1976. It was just different. It was a Comedy Store.
Right. You got to come back.
And I told the story of Robin. Robin telling me at the Comedy Store, because we used to all sit there and wait for Paul Mooney not to show up. So if Paul Mooney didn't show up, we could all get on, because Paul did 2 and 3 hours at a time. But if Paul showed up, well, none of us getting on. And so Robin told me one night, he said, I can't do that. I'm going home. I said, what do you mean you're going home? He said, no, I'm going back to the low end. I'm going home. I'm work the clubs there. I said, but there's no infrastructure at that time. Like there's no pool where you can work. But he said, I don't care. Next thing I know, here's a comedy act. Next thing I know, there is a pool. Next thing I know, there is a market. Next thing I know, there are the people to facilitate that in place to make it happen. Right. And it
happens. And I think it continues to happen. Like you were speaking earlier. And as I get older, I just found out that, hey, you can, you already see yourself where you are. It's just you got to get there. So it's your fault if you don't wake up in the proper timeline. So you can make a timeline that is still thinking about it, getting there, or already there. But you see yourself at the end of it. Otherwise, this wouldn't be your purpose in your journey. You wouldn't be doing it so well. And the timing just wouldn't be happening like that. Like I said, when I got out here at the right time, I only met Robin Harris for like a year. He took me in, talked to me, him and Ronaldo Ray. They gave me like a crash course to whatever. And it was woo. And then gave me the reins. And the next thing you know, I was doing a comedy act. I was, after him, nobody wanted to do it. Then Def Jam happened. John Singleton was put me in Remember the Time video. And then it was at the time for black movies and different things was doing. And I was like, wow, I happened to meet good people at the right time. And I was because I came out here hungry. I came out here in the spirit of, man, I'm saying, I'm praying, I'm blessed, all the stuff I know. I'm 20, I think I was 22 at the time. And I'm just, I just packed up $350 in my pocket, 75 AMC Hornet. This is what I want to do. And first, and didn't look back. And, and I graduated college. I went to college on a football wrestling scholarship. I majored in mass communication, journalism, broadcasting, radio, TV, print, advertising, marketing. So I read about all this before I got out here. I read about how to be an entertainer, get your taxes right, learn the business, the difference between this, that, and the other, what entertainers, why they go broke, what are some of the biggest, downfalls of becoming this thing on, I back then I read that Bob Hope, his thing was real estate. He owned half of Burbank. And
yeah.
I was like, what? And I was like, yeah, I didn't know people did stuff like that. It was like, okay. And then you would Google like Abbott and Costello. Costello, he had a patent on the ice machine. I was like, what? They had studios up on Sunset. I'm like, oh, okay. So it's not just it's about the business behind the show business. So I used to sit on Richard Pryor's, when he was, he used to let me in his mansion when he up off of Morago, and just, I used to just take notes, just listen like a little bitch. Like,
yeah,
give me some nuggets, man.
That's the best school ever. And you've had this wonderful career, but now you're starting a streaming venture.
Oh, yeah. Well, my whole point was to create my own Hollywood, right? Just you're right on point, segue and right into, when I read about it, I was like, you know what? If there's been so many levels of Hollywood, you just need to come there and make your own Hollywood. So my thing was always take Hollywood back to the Midwest, take it to St. Louis. I was trying to do it in Atlanta, before it blew up like it did, but it was in the 90s, so music took off. So Def and all that stuff was because soundtracks where the music was moving back then, and it gave and all that environment gave us a culture. But now I'm like, okay, we're right on time with the timeline. Like like people got mad at me because I came out here and I just hit real quick. I met John Singleton. I met Deep Sammy. Met people I was popping. I was in this movie, that movie, Sprung. I met Clarence Williams III. I met a lot of people real quick, and I got a lot of nuggets. Richard, and I was working real quick. Remember the Time video. I got stuff. I used to write, and I was in Sprung. And then, but it's just like now with these young guys. They got the internet. Mm-hmm. I remember when Dave Stewart, the richest black man in the business who owns Worldwide Technology, was telling me about e-commerce and the internet, and I was like, yeah, whatever.
yeah, I'm going to make me an album.
I said, whatever. I know I got Shaq coming town. I got this. I'm putting this. I'm doing this on, and I'm like, whoa, technology. You know what I'm saying? That's been here forever. Before
Yeah, well, the business changes every time technology changes. There was a big shift in every technological advance created a boom and a bust.
But you know what? The business will never change.
Well, yeah. Game is game. We're back to game is game.
No, listen. The business is the same. Those who don't know, don't know. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to cost you to know, but you can know. So since I've been here, I got out here, and I looked around, broke, and $300 in my pocket, 75 ANC Hornet. And when I started making it, I had 7 people on my payroll, and none of them was black. 6 of them was Jewish. 1 of them was half Russian, white, whatever. My mama's still working. I ain't doing nothing for my kids' community. It just looked around. I was making it. They was telling me about how much money I'm making them. And I was like, wow, for what? For stuff that I know? There's stuff that I can read? Stuff that what you called me to ask me for stuff that I can figure out? So it's just so I just start, just peeling it back. I mean, so everything you don't want to know is on you. But you can learn. You know what I'm saying? You can figure it out.
So and it's your career. A lot of people don't realize they're in charge of their own career. I mean,
yes,
your agent is 10%. You got 90%. You spending your money, so you have to understand that you don't work for them.
Well, the gift of being a comedian, and I say this to people because people don't know it. The gift of being a comedian and an entertainer, because you are everything. You're every performer at one time. We're the writer, producer, director. We're the choreographer. We're the sound. We're everything. We're everything in a split second. We don't have nothing. We don't have a script. We don't have nothing but what's coming out of our mind right now. And we're painting a picture right in front of you. Yeah. We're everything. We're the editor. If it don't work, we got to take that person out and put it back in. We got to be this character. We can do this. We can do this. We got to set and paint this scene to where we are a one-man show, one-woman show. We are a theater.
Yeah.
On the spot right there. So at the same time, you don't think we are the accountant? We don't think we are the bookkeeper. We ain't, we looking around like, yo, we doing all this. Hey, all of them get a check. Can I get that check? I just did like 10 jobs.
Well, you can designate and delegate, but you have to understand it's your responsibility at the end of the day. I also think though we have to let people understand too. Some people have more talent in the show part of the equation, and others have more talent in the business part. Some kind of walk the line. But as I said, you have the ability to delegate, to outsource things to, okay, I'm not going to handle the dollars and cents, the minutia. I'm going to watch my money because I don't trust you as far as I can throw you. But I'm not going to be the one y'all handle that. Those kinds of things we have to assess our own talents because you can take so much away if your talent is in the show, is putting on the show. You can take so much time away from that. And I was watching Luther Vandross. He is the ultimate upper ghetto showman I've ever seen. Yes. And so watching him, he's not just the songwriter. He's not just in charge of the orchestra. He's not just in charge of he staged the whole fucking thing. He gave everybody the music, the choreography. He is, and then he performed. he is all of that. I don't expect him also to be his own publicist. We have
No.
to be able to.
Right. Exactly. Because Michael Jackson did the same thing. But
Everybody.
But I think with every era we grow, once we sit back and we, like you said, you watch and you say, okay, but how can I make it easier? Because if I can't, I already see where I'm supposed to be. And I've been out here long enough doing it where I know somebody tried to paint my picture different. It's like, no, that's not what I see me doing. You know what I'm saying? Have you been to the Puffy party? No, I didn't see that. I didn't see that in my no. I see where I'm ended up, and I was never there when somebody was in baby oil. You know what I'm saying? Now, I've been to parties, but I ain't been in some of his parties, but I ain't been to, that.
I ain't even had no baby oil in my presence in the past 40 years. So,
well, you grew up in the Vaseline. You grew up in the Vaseline era.
Hey! Don't know? Yeah, we don't know each other like that. But anyway, I would love to hear more about the streaming.
Oh yes,
because here we are. I know I'm 71. So, and I still love technology. Now you branching into, I turn on streaming and these kids are like 9. They're little, they're young.
Right.
How do you see yourself fitting into the landscape?
Well, that's not streaming. That's not that type of streaming. Streaming 24 hours a day or something like that. As far as a person, it's two different types of streaming. Mine is a
You're looking for a studio.
Mine is like a Netflix, a Tubi. Look at it like a Tubi.
Okay.
Soul TV. So right now you would be able to go down the channel and you click and you'll be able to find the Marshaverse.
Okay.
But from movies and you would get your money. You ain't got to go. I got a file. I need to go through all this YouTube thing and these things to algorithm. No, on the platform, it's going to be built for Black people. It's going to be built for, and not Black people, but for Soul TV. You got the right soul. Come to the TV. Put your stuff on the platform, and you can see your money in 30 days. You can see what it is. And that's not an advertisement for me. That's for. I've been trying to do Joe TV. I've been trying to find a platform where I can put out just my content, everybody's content, and do content where, okay, we've been building platforms. We built Fox, we built Tubi, we built all these, not just platforms, but plantations, and we still ain't got our reparations. So now we're at a time where, okay, cool, we can get it. We can get it right here. You can build your own stuff. If you'll figure it out and understand how to, keep your storage and do this stuff. So I connected with some Black people that know what they're doing. We've been doing a lot of projects together. So we just putting them on our platform and we can create and we can be putting it on every era, just like, okay, why, just like what they're doing. Why can't we do it? And that's the beauty of now. It's like, okay, if Trump and whatever this universe or the virus of this era is trying to take away our history, then put it on the platform somewhere.
All right.
It's just time, put your stuff on.
Kudos. I wish you all the best, and I expect a couple of phone calls. Anyway, we're gonna right now, if you don't mind. My sons are waiting to meet you and ask you questions, talk to you for a minute. So if that's all right with you, hang out for another minute or so.
Oh yeah.
I'd like to introduce my oldest son, the one that looks just like me. He produces this show.
I doubt that.
No, he is. He looks like I spit him out. So say hello to Stephen Roberts.
Hi there.
Hi, Stephen. Say hi, Joe.
Hey. My apologies.
Don't you see the
I see. I'm like, who's who? Is that?
We twinning. But also, before we get going, I want to introduce my baby boy, my problem child, my son, my baby son. He's adorable, and you know him. Say hello to Skillz Hudson.
What up?
Hey,
hey, Mom.
Y'all know each other, right?
Yes, Skillz. I told Skillz I met Skillz when I bought a bag of popcorn, and he fell out. He was surprised.
Yeah, I like popcorn too. So y'all been backstage listening. What are your thoughts? Do I have any questions? Who wants to go first?
I go first.
Okay.
Me myself, I'm sitting back, even though like I'm part of the fraternity, I'm sitting back as a fan because I was always, before I even started doing stand up, was a fan of your comedy, you and your brother. You know what I'm saying? Mostly you though, but you know what I'm saying. And when I
Because
moved
he
to
ain't here.
LA, huh? What'd you
I
say?
said, because he
Because
ain't here.
Exactly.
no, but when I first started and moved to LA, and I had bumped into you a few times, but I was new and raw and everything. But to just hear like what you were saying, that Sammy was one of your big influence, and that was one of my influences when I was before I even started doing stand up. I enjoyed all the different things that he was able to do, talent wise. And then you speaking about like just knowing your end route. I forgot how you put it, but you just knowing your road already before
Your
you even
goal.
like
You
start.
see your
You know what I'm
goal,
saying?
Right.
Your goal. Yes. So yeah.
I was talking about seeing my end game. I know where I'm going. I know the end of the road. I already see, and I think everybody does it. You see your end game. You're here for a purpose, and but it's your job to get there. And I don't think the universe sends you here to planet Earth unless you're strong enough to figure out how to get back home to who you are. And I say that to people. We are aliens. You could take in all this old stuff that's going on, political, religion, and all that stuff, but that the universe don't make none of that. Man makes that. I'm saying your job is to come here and figure out how to get back home. You know what I'm saying? Even E.T. wanted to get back home because he knew that Earth was too hard. You know what I'm saying? So some of your ancestors came here to save you. You came here to get your ancestors or your people back to the universe where it is. But remember who you are. You're powerful. You're great every day. You're married. You got to keep telling yourself that. Otherwise, you can take in all this toxic stuff and be gone. So so when I was younger, that's all I used to come out here on, just the prayers and just good energy and good vibes and high vibrations. And I was just manifesting who I wanted to meet and what I wanted to do because I didn't have kids. I didn't have a wife. I didn't have problems. I didn't have bills. I was just living off of me. And the minute I start taking in toxic stuff, and then I started getting shot and I started getting out, and I was successful, but it just was slowing down my hard drive.
Well, I always say your dreams are your life blueprint, and if you follow them, you can't lose. Because you can't fail at being you.
Exactly.
That's the one thing you can always be. And so, yeah. Then the Silver Shadow was a song that I saw myself in. I heard myself in that. Go from your dreams on the bed to living that life. That's something that I couldn't conceive of as a teenager. But hopefully, people who've seen me and you can see, as they're teenagers, they can see that there's a light they could step into. And you don't understand. I see you sitting there looking like Daddy Warbucks. Anyway, you sitting there with at Derby looking like, yeah, chairman of the board.
Oh, me?
Yes, you. You look it's like sitting up back in your and so tell BJ to call B well and
wrinkles in the shirt.
don't you look
That's hilarious.
Anyway, I can see you in that movie. Don't you see the 1974? Big Boss, Big Boss. Joe Torry is Big Boss. Spike Lee would be some music you don't want. Anyway.
All right, I'm saying, and I'm sitting here. You think it's liquor? I'm sitting here drinking soup, right?
Okay, go ahead, Steven.
That's a joke.
That's all right. Have soup sandwich. I always say if you want a peanut butter sandwich and a glass of milk, if that makes you chill out and be cool, more power to you. I'm gonna have some cognac. Do you have anything you would like to share with us?
Sure. I've actually eaten a peanut butter and jelly sandwich while doing the podcast, actually.
Crunchy,
good thing.
Crunchy or smooth? Peanut butter.
Crunchy. Always crunchy. Yes. Got to be crunchy.
Make your
Soft
own.
bread or toast?
Yeah. Soft bread.
White bread.
White, of course.
You said those who eats peanut butter and jelly on toast?
Wheat
Peanut
toast.
butter and jelly on toast?
Not, I don't eat jelly.
Not on toast. It's a toasted sandwich.
No,
Peanut
I
butter and
put
jelly?
peanut butter on toast.
We talking
Yeah,
about
I
peanut
mean-
butter. We talking about peanut butter and jelly now.
No, I don't do
Yes.
jelly no more. I
I
eat
toast my
grape.
bread and then I put the jelly because I don't like the soft. It gets stuck all in you. Yeah, it's too gooey.
Yeah, you
That's
got
the
big teeth.
best
You got
part
some
of
big old gums. You got extra teeth. You got extra row of teeth in the tops.
You got
I can
extra
understand. I can understand you choking to death on the dough.
Ah,
You got to program your back teeth to chew and the other ones to chop.
Now y'all know all of the etiquette of peanut butter and jelly. Stephen,
Yes.
my love, what did you
Yes.
want to contribute?
Actually, this is a question for both you and Joe.
Okay.
And the question, Skillz can answer it too. What piece of technology do you find essential to your business now? Heard you talking about technology. I've also heard, people like Seinfeld talk about comedians. We have to do everything. We have to do everything. And we're great at that. We're great at doing everything, especially now. So what piece of technology do you find essential to your everyday business? Marsha?
Cell phone, no question about it. My cell phone, my Android cell
Yay.
phone is I can do everything I need to do from my cell phone. I could produce this show. I can do anything I need to do as long as I have my
Joe?
I second that. We're living in a day and an era where everything you think you can do or you want somebody to do for you can do it for your damn self. It's right there in your hand. You can be a studio, you can put stuff out, you can edit it, you can ask AI. AI will make something for you like that. You know what I'm saying? Things you don't even know what to do. So it's like, like what I was saying earlier, because you're winning in an era. And I think everybody wins in an era that they're in. But if you ain't trying to get in the front line and be out there, like, you take a chance and believe in yourself, then you don't know what's going to be rewarded to you. So I came out of my era, but I'm for real. Trust me, just, I'm like, yeah, on some Marsha energy, on whatever energy I had as a black person that making it. And I think now we're living in an era when people talk to me about these new people doing it. Do it. Technology, yeah, we're you got it. So use what's available to you right now. And I
still want to push Torry TV.
Joe, who?
Torry TV.
Joe Torry TV?
No, just Torry TV.
Torry TV. Oh yeah, it's so many. If I turn this around, I'm in the studio. It's a big old 82-inch back there.
Yeah, I mean, it's the platform is Torry TV.
Yeah,
put in Torry TV. That's simple. It's straight and it identifies. I know where I'm getting.
But you know what you get. You know what you get. Joe Torry TV will be on Soul TV.
Okay, Soul TV. Did you ever ask a question, Steve?
I did, and now I'm asking Skillz. Besides the cell phone is obvious. I mean, it's obvious. Are any other pieces that are essential to you?
Oh, look, microphones.
Little
I
law.
got these ones. Yeah, I got these ones that I got off TikTok joint. I'm saying, and it's good for like doing just every day, just for my videos to doing commentary to if I'm out and about. So yeah, my little microphones, and it's good for like if you want to talk to your neighbor, but never mind.
So what?
Invest in one of these. I don't work for this company. I don't, but invest in one of these. It's a standalone mic. It could be a stand mic, a hand mic.
Oh, yeah.
It can be a lavalier mic that you can attach with a clip or with magnets. You can use it on your camera, your phone. Get you one of these, and it's half the price of the more expensive ones. And that's what I'm talking on now. It also has noise canceling. It's good. So,
but I love it. I trust me. We got our cameras. I love the studio, first to the back and everything. And this is so you know what it is. Everybody's comfortable doing what they're doing, but the technology in this era I think that's the whole point. The comfortability of being yourself anytime you want to.
Yeah.
Is
But you know, the greatest technology, the greatest anything you have is your imagination.
Well, oh yeah.
You have your imagination has gotten you where you are today, and it's going to take you where you want to go in the future if you let it. If you're not afraid, it can be frightening because you can imagine all kinds of things,
Yeah.
but you have to trust that that is the whole gift in a nutshell, the ability, and you have to make sure that you have time to enjoy your own imagination. And that's when everything becomes possible. When you can dream things, when you can be Walt Disney drawing cartoon mice and dream of Disney worlds and planets. So embrace your imagination and as a friend and trust it. Everything will be all right.
I think you need to copyright that on the show. Embrace your imagination, enjoy
You
your
know?
imagination. I'm serious, for real. That is, I would buy that T-shirt, or wear that. I would, because that's that's powerful right there. And you do, because that's how we live. As comedians, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
We
that's
embrace it.
how we do it. But that's one of the things that they stole from us as people, from women, from black people. They stole your ability to trust your own dream, and because you couldn't see them, you couldn't
Right.
see 'em. And so uh, when you talk about that or anything, just grab back your joy. If you trust your imagination, you grab back your joy. Nobody can take that from you. And if you trust it, it'll take you everywhere you want to go.
Right.
Thank
That's
you so
that's the
much.
that's the main point of these books back here.
Okay.
Because they didn't want us to read at a point, and it was like, well, man, it must be something very powerful about learning.
You know, well, if you can communicate, if you conceive it, you can achieve it. But if you can, e- everything we have started with a thought.
Yes.
Everything. And
Yes.
so the biggest plane, the bombs, the guns, everything started. This microphone I was just talking about, the equipment started with what if we had what if I could talk to people who are not here? What if I could be in another country and it could fly like a bird? What if I could? Everything starts with a thought. So we have to have time to luxuriate in our thoughts and our imaginations, and then the magic, the spirit, the godliness in all of us is the ability to formulate those thoughts and then share them with people who ain't in your brain. Share what you thought of with another person who don't give a fuck about nothing in your life, but communicate with them what you're thinking and hear back what they're saying and maybe collaborate and make something even bigger and better that you could never have thought of on your own. It's just that's the miracle of humanity and our shared humanity if we let it be that we have the ability to conceive and share and write it down and learn and basically talk to people who've been dead for thousands of years. It's the greatest gift we have. Like I said, I'm so happy you're here. I look forward to Tory TV. I don't know if you call it Soul TV, but I look forward to it and maybe working some things out with you. I would love to have you, give us a little, watch Midnight in the Marshaverse, if you would.
Where do you live now?
I'm in Vegas.
Okay, you in Vegas? Okay, cool. So you right down.
I'm in Vegas. I'm back and forth in LA though. So
I went to. Did you know Nell Carter?
Yes, yes. Nell Carter. I there are some people I know from the way they hug. Nell Carter was one of the best huggers I've ever met. Nell Carter, Phyllis Hyman, and Etta James. Etta James gave you a hug. You was hugged. You have truly, well and truly, and Nell she was just a sunshine. Some people come
Exactly.
to you and they just like her whole body would light up when she saw you. So
That's
yes, I
exactly
know
that's
Nell.
exactly what I want to hear. For
Yeah.
real. That's what she gave. You know what I mean? I never got to meet her. I met Phyllis Hyman for a quick minute, like I did Sammy.
Yeah.
Out in Manhattan Beach performing somewhere. It was a real quick thing, but Yeah, but that was on my spirit to ask you that, and I was like, you know what? And your response was exactly what I thought you would say.
It's exactly who she was. I really, you felt comfortable in her presence. She just did, and she lit up room. She lit up the room.
Right.
So yeah, I'm lucky to say I've met people, and to be perfectly honest, I grew up in awe of these people, never thinking I was ever going to meet anybody in show business, and none of it. It wasn't a possibility. I thought that was a whole different world. You had to step into another dimension or something. And so to get into a point in my career where I could say I had met all my heroes and they talk back to me was a huge, huge realization for me. I am lucky enough, or unlucky enough, but lucky enough to have met far beyond my expectation of luminaries and notables. I met Sammy Davis. I met Sidney Poitier and Harry Belafonte.
Didn't you meet Henny Youngman?
Yes, he gave me a diamond pin.
Wow.
Yeah, he would give you a safety pin with a dime glued to it. He'd say, "You want a diamond pin?"
Wow.
So yes, I met him. Anyway, thank you so much. Come back again.
Hey, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure, and we feel the same way about you. So, except that nothing you, like George Wallace said, nothing you can do about it.
Nothing you can do about it.
For real, and appreciate for real you being who you are and who you continue to be.
Just me, baby. So, and like I said, you can't fail at doing that.
So, hey, there you go. There you go.
All right, you take it easy.
All right, hey,
say hello to your brother for me,
Steve. I will. I'll tell him.
He gave me the best jacket I've had in years.
Okay.
They used to give away. When you do a show, you get a nice baseball jacket, and then they start giving you little flimsy hoodies and stuff like that.
Right.
For that jacket, I like this. We don't do that no more? I love that jacket. Anyway, tell him I said hi, and I'm glad he's okay.
Yeah. Hey, once if you're in alignment for assignment, then it should be all right.
All right. Well, you take care. See you again next time.
Appreciate you guys.
Good night. So, hi.
Well, hi there.
We had fun, huh?
Yeah, that was another good one.
Yeah.
Another good one. We were so it was just serendipity that we got to have him on the show. I'm so glad that happened.
Yeah, sometimes things work out like they're supposed to, and sometimes they work out like you're supposed to, and you don't like it.
Fair enough.
But they always go work out how they supposed to.
Yes.
How you feeling, Skillz? I'm Skillz. Your brother, you came to his rescue. You helped him out, and so how you doing?
Thank you. A lot better, but I just feel because I've been taking a lot. I don't like taking medicine a lot like that. You know what I mean? So, but I feel a lot is numb to pain, and plus I've been this.
What is that? That's that bourbon, right?
But it's so smooth though. I've just been just sipping on it. I took it out the freezer like you said, and I just been sipping on it like warm.
Yeah, that's nice room temperature. Sipping whiskey. That's grown food.
For people who don't know, Skillz had a bad back for a little while, and we took care of him and sent him some acetaminophen.
Some over-the-counter painkiller.
Yes.
So
because we love our Skillz.
Other over-the-counter painkillers, they wasn't cutting it.
No.
So what's been going on
today? Well, I liked what you said about the Charlie Kirk stuff. I appreciated your stance on it. So thank you for saying that. I'm right there with you on that.
Yeah, good. What I've noticed that his this whole, it's not so much his death, but the politicking and stuff around it has almost served to stifle people's freedom of speech. It's like people are afraid to say how they really felt because you'll get attacked for being insensitive and all that kind of stuff. And that's not fair. because he was who he was. You
Right.
can bemoan the fact that he was killed, and give
But
your
what's happening
condolences
is
for
they're
that.
saying, well,
But that doesn't mean that I have to accept who he
correct.
was and how he lived.
But it really, this kind of debate, this kind of fighting that we're doing, because it's really beyond debate. This kind of fighting that we're doing back and forth has become so juvenile because people are saying, you should have more respect for, and then the other side is saying, yeah, but when this person died on our side, you
Yeah.
did this. And it's like, we're going to just back and forth, as opposed to somebody has got to take the high road. Somebody has got to take the high road.
But what for, like, to piggyback off that, Famo, is that, like, from the other side, from like the minority side of it, it seems like we always taking the high road, and we always don't had to been like, I don't been surprised with, I don't been around other races that ain't even really watched the slave movie. You know what I'm saying? And then and I watch a certain movie and it hits me a certain way, and they don't feel that pain when they seeing a person that look like me going through torture or something, and I'm knowing it's the history of our, and that's the same type of thing that's going now, because the other side cares about this individual like that, not just his views, him as an individual, that they feel like anything against is, and we like, hey, we've been feeling like that. It's not like a back and forth, because it ain't never been a back and forth, because I ain't really had to feel like that. You know what I'm saying? So,
I do know. Yeah, I hear you. I think that when I'm speaking more generally when I'm saying the back and forth and what's happening now on the social medias, but yeah, I totally get that. And as a gay man, I mean, AIDS, I mean, where they didn't even mention it. It wasn't even mentioned by
Well, if it was people. They made people afraid of you. You're lepers.
Right.
It was bemoaned, and people didn't want to. Magic Johnson, when he started playing again, players didn't want to play on the same court
right
with him, and if he had a bruise, they stopped the game. It was like over because I mean, it was a lot of misinformation and a lot of demonizing, and we do that. We again have to examine all of that and understand the shared humanity of the people of this nation, all of this nation, and learn to coexist and just coexist.
Yeah, but I just want Skillz to know that I heard what he had to say, because he's saying we always take the high road, and as far as that's concerned, I think the Democrat side, the liberal side, always takes the high road. That's always been our strength, but it's very hard to endure when the far right plays so nasty now. They break all the rules. They break even the actual laws, and they break the understood rules, and they just be as nasty and as they can.
Yeah.
And then when it's, so I understand. I just wanted to say I heard you. I heard what you said.
Oh yeah,
I understand that too, but I want to know simple. We always take the high road, right? And I want to know what's wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's just, I think that at some point it gets very frustrating when you're always taking the high road and they're throwing sand in your eyes.
Yeah,
it's frustrating.
It's frustrating unless, to me, and this is just me talking. These are people saying you're better than them. You're at a place that they can't get to, and they want to pull you down to their level so that they can compete. And you give up your power when you do that.
Right.
You have to understand that their characterization of your strength is not reflective of your reality. So you might say that a weakness is this, your pussy, or that, but you're just being a bully. The fact is that we do have a better way. We do have a better understanding. We are not talking about taking things and being greedy and hoarding and stuff. It is a higher ground.
And when that journalist was told to shut up,
yes,
to keep her mouth shut
yes,
by the dumbass,
yes,
she held her character. She kept her cool, which is what journalists are supposed to do. Journalists hold, because they are asking a question and they are allowing that person who they asked the question to react, because that's part of the news. And
hey, Famo, also, have you noticed that it became such a norm of whatever he wants to say that wouldn't even been normal for a president to even speak like that.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
Ever.
But he's able to say that.
As a country sunk to that level to where we don't show outrage because you get ridiculed. But no, this fucker, this is beneath the office of the president. You are beneath the office of the president. This should be funny. We should be mocking this. We should be showing it for what it is without getting into the back and forth. And one of the things I have a problem with Charlie Kirk was that he pretended to want debate. The things you want to debate about are not debatable. There is no point in engaging in any sort of pretense of debate because the things you want are so reprehensible that I just will not contemplate. I will not dignify it with debate. And as long as we do hold that up as some sort of virtue, here again, you're giving up your power. No.
Well, and you're normalizing something that most of us thought was settled a long time ago.
But it's like one time I saw two guys, one guy jawjacking about so whatever around another. And finally, the guy who hadn't been saying anything, he said, "You want to fight?" And the other guy, "Yeah, I want to fight." And he said, "Well, go ahead and fight." And turned around and walked away.
Yeah.
You can't fight me if I won't.
That was also Kamala Harris's biggest strength, I always felt like. I always felt like she just didn't lower herself to that kind of behavior.
And so now we see what happens when you do. We see what happens when you turn the country over to people who do accept that level of whatever. They're incompetent. This can't win. Their way of doing and thinking cannot win. It might be detrimental and very detrimental in many ways to it, but it cannot win. This is the last gasp of the patriarchy. This is the last gasp of white supremacy. This is a desperate attempt to try to hold on to an illusion of power.
To old thinking.
So we can't solve all the problems of the world in one sitting. So we have to come back next week and continue on this journey. But where are you going to be this week? Where can we find you? Plying your trade, Stephen?
Well, you can see me at the LA Comedy Club this weekend, and that's at the Strat Hotel and Casino. And you can also see me at the Office Bar on Tuesdays for Trivia Night, turning out to be a lot of fun. If you want to come and join us and let your hair down and have some delicious food, you should do it.
All right. And Skillz, where can we find you this week?
Tomorrow you can catch me here in Vegas at Jimmy Kimmel's my residency at 11:30. I had to remember today. 11:30.
What's the name of the show?
Show Those Skills. Show Those Skills Fridays. And this Sunday and Monday at the same club, Jimmy Kimmel's Lunell's residency at 10 p.m.
All right, the illustrious, the inimitable Lunell. Let's give her props. Lunell. All right. And we hope that you will, if you're watching and you enjoyed us, you will like, share, comment, and come back again. Subscribe. Do all the things that everybody with a platform like this asks you to do. It means a lot. And we hope to continue to do this as long as you like it. So please do us that solid, as we used to say back in the day. And I want to leave on the note. There's a young lady that I love a lot of these content creators. There's a beautiful young lady who is very knowledgeable and does really in-depth research and tells stories that you might not otherwise hear. And the one I'm going to show you is she asked, "Have you ever heard of a saltwater railroad?" It's an interesting little piece of history that hopefully you'll take something from. And we'll come back again, see us again, and be on the lookout for our new web series that's coming up very soon called Truth Hunter Adventures of a Time Traveling Gym Teacher. I think you're going to like it. But right now, you're going to watch Ashley tell you what a saltwater railroad is. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Joe, for coming. Thank you, my sons. I love you both madly, and I'll see you again next week. Good night.
I can't help but wonder, what if freedom didn't just run north through forest and train tracks, but south, across the ocean? Because that's exactly what our ancestors did. They built a path called the Saltwater Railroad, and it's one of the most beautiful stories of resistance that's ever been told. So picture this, enslaved families in Florida and Georgia, slipping out in the middle of the night. Not barefoot in the woods this time, but climbing into rowboats, stolen schooners, even makeshift rafts. And with nothing but the stars above them and the waves beneath them, they pushed towards the Bahamas. Why? Because Britain ended slavery there in 1830. And the second your feet touched Bahamian sand, you weren't property anymore. You were free. And the most powerful part? When those boats arrived at dawn, free Black Bahamians were waiting at the docks, with food, shelter, with open arms. Imagine that, waking up after risking your life at sea and being welcomed, not as a runaway, but as family. This wasn't just survival, this was pride. This was saying we'll claim freedom by any means, even if we have to row across an entire ocean to do it. Yeah, the journey was dangerous and some never made it. The U.S. government demanded that Britain hand those people back. But Britain said no. They said once they're free here, they're going to stay free. And that refusal was a dagger to the heart of American slavery. The Saltwater Railroad proved something that we were never taught in school. Our people were never passive. They weren't just waiting for Lincoln's papers or pity. They were strategists, sailors, and freedom builders. And today there are Bahamian families who still trace their roots to those freedom seekers. Their names, their stories, their survival, alive in a whole new generation. And that's the pride that I want us to carry. Our people weren't only stolen across the ocean, they also sailed themselves into freedom across it. They turned the same waters meant to enslave them into waters that carried them home. So don't let anybody ever tell you that our ancestors didn't fight back. Don't let them tell you that we only survived by luck. We survived by genius, by courage, by love so deep, they risked the sea itself. That's the Saltwater Railroad. That's our legacy. And if they could cross the ocean for freedom, then don't you ever doubt the power that runs through your blood today. We are amazing.
Got a way, no one can do it like that. Her own style, no one can wear that hat. Hey, don't you know that the queen is back? She's back, she's back. She withstands the test of time. When it comes to strength, she comes to mind. Knock it down, she gets back up again and again. I'm talking about Marsha. Marsha. You know you got it, you know you got it. No one can tell a joke like that. Got you laying on the ground, cracking up on your back. You know you got it, you know you got it. Everybody knows when she's in the place. Got you laughing with a look on your face. Marsha Warfield, March 5th,